thought I'd just give a quick update. I'm having to lie down because I have severe post-exertional malaise. If I do too much, I have to restrict what I do in the mornings. Like I'm not allowed, I can't overdo it, otherwise it triggers it real bad. But the worst symptom is orthostatic pressure in my hips, pooling blood, I think, around my pelvis. And it makes standing, or it makes sitting, dog, holy moly. makes sitting unbelievably uncomfortable. Like driving for an hour, or, even being a passenger. Usually a few days after that, I've really crashed out. The only comfort I get is when I lie down, hence why I'm lying down. So this isn't living, really. So I'm just hoping that it's nothing more serious than that. But it is pretty serious because I can't work other than basically just look after myself. And even that's a struggle sometimes. Sometimes I wish someone would just come and cook for me. Or I do get a cleaner in because I can't vacuum. But of course it all costs, doesn't it, when you paid support. Yeah. It is what it is. And but I can't be around people too long either. That's the whole thing. Even interactions can exhaust me. But it just varies. So I thought I'd just do this video up vlog. You never know, one day I might put it together. I don't know at the moment. I've been diagnosed with hormone positive breast cancer, and I'm dealing with appointments. I'm actually going for an ultrasound on both breasts tomorrow. I've already had the biopsy, obviously, back in January. I've been waiting for these appointments. I finally saw the oncologist, not last week, the week before. I find one appointment a week is really my limit. And even then I crash. Like I said, I have to lie down for 2 days after it and just eat and drink, keep my fluids up. So I went to an anaesthesiologist appointment last Tuesday. Or was it Monday? Tuesday, I think. And that was actually quite good because I said about my POTS type tachycardia 2, heat intolerance, this orthostatic pressure in my hips, my ME CFS, which is chronic fatigue syndrome, which when you learn about that, you have to learn how to bring back your baseline. I'm really hoping that I won't be like this, forever. I'm hoping that once I have the breast surgery, which I'm looking at a double mastectomy at this stage, and because of my kids' psychology and also my own, I think I'm seriously thinking of direct implant so that I wake up with breasts still psychologically, because we've just dealt with such a lot, and it's just another loss of respecting my kids' psychology as well there, the reasonings, hoping that I think the silicons have come a long way in the last 20 years probably. I know there is breast implant illness, which they say is fatigue, and I'm like, well, I've already got that, so unless it gave me like serious immune issues, then obviously I'd look at removing them again. But at this stage, I think it's worth taking the risk. To be honest, I don't think it's really been too much for consideration, but I was thinking about using my own fat, on the flap or whatever they call it, but it's a way longer surgery, and I'm not sure whether that's a good thing for me, for my autonomic nervous system sensitivity. I am nervous about any drugs, to be fair. I don't think I've ever been under general anaesthesia. I honestly don't think I have. Don't think I've ever been put to sleep. So yeah, it's a little bit don't know basket. I'm hoping this isn't like going to lead into worse symptoms down the track. I'm not going to go there anyway, but it's all these things. My hypervigilant brain is always scanning for threat, but more than anything, I'm trying to keep it calm and just practical, and just deal with the advice as and when it comes as well. So I'm hoping that my 2 centimetre breast tumour, cancer tumour, that it will just be safely removed, and that can happen, and that it doesn't provide me with any ongoing issues. What else? Yeah, just the day in the life of me. I'm on my day bed. These aren't even pillows. These are actually quite flat. They're just that I had on my couch, but they're actually quite good for my neck at the moment because I want to be quite flat. So you just find what's right for you. I've got my stand beside me. I've just got my water. I'm still taking vitamin D and selenium, glutathione. Just as and when my body feels it needs it. With the selenium liquid that I've got, if it tastes sweet, then I know my body will take it. But if it starts to taste metallic, then I don't take it. And at this point, it hasn't started to taste metallic. So, what else? Yeah, take magnesium at night before bed in my cup of cacao. Well, try not to drink that too late because it can still have a, slight stimulant effect. So I usually have that in the morning or later morning. I got some jobs. I got fed the dogs this morning. I usually empty the dishwasher, maybe load it up again. I usually eat something like eggs. I had apple and yogurt, coconut yogurt this morning with some nuts and seeds, and I took the liquid glutathione. And what else did I have with it? No, it's actually, I think I had almond butter a little bit as well, like a teaspoon mixed in. And yeah, just my water. I might get some vitamin C in my water once I finish this bottle. I usually fill this up, which is probably about 2 litres, I'd say. It's probably about a 2 litre bottle. So I find if I've, gone through at least 1.5 or 2 of those a day, just sipping at it, I'm doing pretty good. I usually put a bit of salt in it too. So yeah, this is my existence right now. It does feel like existence. It's a bit frustrating, but I have to accept where I'm at. That's the bit where you say be positive. Oh yes. It's just steady and gentle and slow, and that's okay. It has to be okay, otherwise I would get too frustrated, and it is what it is. So yeah. Sometimes I do get overwhelmed. Last night I was a bit overwhelmed and my hypervigilance, and then I'm threat detecting. And sometimes I have to shut it down. I have to go, no, this isn't, good for my body. I just need to shut that down and just deal with the information as and when it comes regarding my health, and just try and make the best decisions when they arrive. But I've tried to be forewarned, forearmed, so that I've got a bit of a picture of what I intend. But, things always change, We're allowed to change our minds, aren't we? But I think you generally get a bit of an idea. As far as implants, I have no idea on product. I've seen some, yeah. Anyway, those sort of details will have to come. But yeah, I think more than anything, my symptoms of not being able to stand is way worse than my breasts, to be honest. I do get tingling sensations, and the reason I'm getting more almost sensations in my left breast, which doesn't have the tumour, that's why I'm thinking of a double mastectomy, because I don't want to have to go through surgery again down the track. No way. I don't want to go through this again. But, I genuinely want to improve, and hopefully I've got some systems in place to keep the stress down, just simple life, which I enjoy. And, in some ways, me always having my own back and, always researching things, and, I'm quite content in that. I don't need lots of people around me, but occasionally it breaks me, because I think, it'd be nice to have a partner that could really chip in, in just little things like make me a drink, or make me an evening meal, or, put the dishwasher on, or just simple things. I don't want for much. It'd be nice to get my health back. I don't know why it declined the way it did. I've been tough doing it all alone for 6 years without my husband. Well, it was tough when he was alive, don't get me wrong. We were struggling. Of course, he died, I didn't. But the effects were still there, and I think this is my body's way of bringing it out. That's my honesty. Nothing's perfect in life. I've generally always cared for people, but I've had to be quite singular. I've had to put myself first now. Obviously my children, but it's a limit to how I can help them at the moment, which bothers me, but they've got some good supports around them too, so I just tell them to, for them to look after themselves, because that's how they look after me, As a mother, you always want to be able to do things to make your kids' lives easier. And that's what me and Tim always did as well, my husband. We didn't want our kids to suffer the way we did, building from nothing, even financially. Anyway, I just pushed my body beyond its capacity because I felt I had no choice. I think there's a lot of people out there like that. It makes me sad. Yeah. Sending you love. There's lots of light in me, I know there is. I have a heart of love for most people. Just don't want the ones that piss me off. I'm a stickler for justice and love and care, boundaries and respect. people that triangulate or gaslight, they don't really register on my radar. I switch off pretty quick. Anyway, there's my first little video vlog. I don't know if I'm going to share this. Look, I clearly haven't got the energy for editing and shit, so it's just going to be raw. Maybe I will post this, but and there'll be people that see it, but I don't give a fuck. Just, do no harm, right? I just want peace. It's all I've ever wanted. Peace and love for my little family to be safe. That's all I think that's all that most people want. And happy days, Looking forward to bright days. I can climb a mountain, climb a hill. I'm climbing a mountain, but just an internal one right now. I always have. I've always felt enlightened. Different from the world. The world doesn't trigger me anymore. That's one thing I'll say. I don't know. Well, it does trigger me, but not. Like, I just switch off from it. I just don't let it, because I know half of the shit that they talk about. I'm not saying it's all bad, but I wouldn't believe half of the stuff they would say on the news media outlets. What's the point? What's it going to add to your life? Really? Is it really worth arguing over or dividing? I just pray that those that are in, that can have an impact in a positive way will use their influence. Because clearly I'm not in a position like that. But I'll tell you what, I think in the spiritual realms, I've probably got a reasonable position. Because I've never done anyone harm, not intentionally anyway. I've always sought love, respect, And I think your moral compass does help you be more pure-spirited, pure-hearted. But yeah, the other side of it is you see through people a bit quicker, which a lot of people don't like. I see through my own patterns at times, No one's perfect, are they? We've all got our strengths and weaknesses, Being vulnerable is a strength. There's lots of people that can't, Anyway. Feel a little bit relaxed. Actually, it all helps. Just calm the nervous system, eh? Sending it up.